Hi and welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you have been here before. It is a pleasure having you. So today we are going to take a look at how you would determine what type of Lenormand deck you would like to work with. So this video is a part of the how-to series. It is in the how-to playlist, and these are the three Lenormand decks that I have. The first one that I had gotten was the Mystical Lenormand, and I wasn't very pleased with them and didn't see eye to eye with them. So then I got the Fairy Tale Lenormand, and I was much more happy with them. And then I decided that I wanted one that was true to the original teachings, and the images were realistic. So then I got the Bluebird Lenormand. This is the one that I absolutely recommend for if you're a beginner with Lenormand and just learning. And the reason for that is it's the truest to the teachings. It also has the saying of what the card represents on the actual card, and it shows which of the typical playing cards it would be associated with. And you also get that with the Fairy Tale Lenormand. It shows which playing card it's associated with. The Mystical Lenormand does not show that, but it does show like planetary associations, which the other two don't. So they all have their pluses and minuses. Not so much this on minuses, but let's take a look at what you should look for when getting a Lenormand deck. So we will just compare the three. So the first card is the Rider. With the Bluebird, you get the saying, you get the card association, and realistic images. With the Fairy Tale, you get the word and the card association, but you have to learn the meaning from the book, and the images are pretty nice. And with the Mystical, you get the planetary association, but you have to memorize everything else. Second card is the Clover. So here is the Bluebird Clover, the Fairy Tale Clover, and the Mystical Clover. And I will point out which card in the Mystical or cards I didn't agree with, so I had a hard time learning with them, but as soon as I switched decks, I was able to learn very easily. So the third card is the Ship with the Bluebird, Ship with the Fairy Tale, Ship with the Mystical, fourth card is the House with the Bluebird. If my camera wants to focus for me. No? House with the Fairy Tale. House with the Mystical. Fifth card is the Tree with the Bluebird. Fairy Tale. and mystical. Sixth card is the Cloud with Bluebird. Clouds with Fairy Tale. Clouds with the Mystical. Seventh card is the Snake with the Bluebird. You can probably hear Winston the Tarot Pig weeking in the background. Silly little guinea pig. So, the Snake is not a good card. And you can clearly see that. In the Fairy Tale, you can clearly see the Snake is not a good card. But if you look at the Snake in the Mystical, to me it looked like a mother protecting her egg. So I didn't agree with this, and I struggled with this one. Like, I don't see that being a bad card. So then we have card 8 in the Bluebird as the Coffin. The Coffin in the Fairy Tale. The Coffin in the Mystical. Card 9 is Flowers in the Bluebird. Bouquet in the Fairy Tale. And Bouquet in the Mystical. Card 10 is the Skith in the Bluebird. The Skith in the Fairy Tale. I'm probably not even pronouncing that properly, but whatever. And the Skith in the Mystical. Scythe, I think is what it is. I don't know. So card 11 is Birch Rod in the Bluebird. It is the Whip in the Fairy Tale. And it is the Whip in the Mystical. Card 12 in the Bluebird is Birds. In the Fairy Tale, it's Birds. In the Mystical, it is, I believe it's Owls, but it's still Birds. Card 13 is Child. So here's the Child in the Bluebird. The Child in the Fairy Tale. The Child in the Mystical. Card 14 is the Fox. Here's the Bluebird. The Fox in the Fairy Tale. And the Fox in the Mystical. Card 15 is the Bear. Bluebird. The Bear in the Fairy Tale. The Bear in the Mystical. Card 16 is the Stars in the Bluebird. Stars in the Fairy Tale. And and stars in the mystical. Card 17 is the stork and the bluebird, the stork in the fairy tale, and the stork in the mystical. Card 18 is the dog, the bluebird, the dog in the fairy tale, and the dog in the mystical. Card 19 is the tower and the bluebird, the tower in the fairy tale, the tower in the mystical, card 20 is the garden and the bluebird, the garden in the fairy tale, and the garden in the mystical. I think this is actually called parks in this one. So that's something that you really have to, if you get the mystical, you literally have to memorize everything. It's not on the cards, not even the title of it. So that is a drawback for those. Here, 21 is the mountain and the bluebirds, the mountain in the fairy tale, the mountain in the mysticals, card 22 is crossroads in the bluebird, crossroads in the fairy tale, and in the mystical they are paths. Card 23 is mice in the bluebird, mice in the fairy tale, mice in the mystical. "24 is the heart in the bluebird, the heart in the fairy tale, and the heart in the mystical. Card 25 is the ring in the bluebird, the ring in the fairy tale, and the ring in the mystical. Card 26 is the book. In the bluebird, the book is partially open but mainly shut, so that would refer to it, the mysteries or whatever is hidden is difficult to uncover. In the fairy tale, the book is open, so that would indicate that what is hidden what is hidden or secret is easily findable. And in the mystical, the book is completely shut, so it's difficult to find what is hidden or what the secret is. 27 is letter in the bluebird, letter in the fairy tale, letter in the mystical. In every deck, there's going to be a man card and a woman card. Some decks are going to have 2 men and 2 women, and some are going to have just 1 man and 1 woman. It is a benefit to have 2 man cards and 2 women cards, because you can use one as your signifier and then see if another one comes out in what spread you're doing, then that would indicate a completely separate person. So in the mystical, there is only 1 man and 1 woman. So there are quite a few drawbacks to the mystical. The bluebird and the fairy tale both have 2 men and 2 women. Huge plus. So there is a younger man in the bluebird, a younger man in the fairy tale, and a man in the mystical. And then in bluebird there is an older man, and in the fairy tale there is an older man. So then card 29 is the lady. Here is a younger lady in the bluebird, a younger lady in the fairy tale, and 1 lady in the mystical. In the bluebird there is an older lady, and in the fairy tale there is an older lady. Card 30 is lilies in the bluebird, lilies in the fairy tale, and lilies in the mystical. Card 31 is the sun, bluebird, the sun, fairy tale, the sun, mystical. Card 32 is the moon, bluebird, the moon in fairy tale, the moon in mystical. My silly guinea pig wants some food. Card 33 is key, bluebird, key in the fairy tale, key in the mystical. Card 34 is fish, bluebird, fish, fairy tale, fish, mystical. Card 35 is anchor, bluebird, anchor in fairy tale, and anchor in mystical. And then the last cards we have are the cross in bluebird, the cross in fairy tale, and the cross in mystical. So with the mystical deck, there are a few of the images that don't match the meaning, and they don't have the words on them so that you know exactly what they are. You do have to memorize everything from the little booklet, and whatever other source you are learning Lenormand from. So I do not recommend the mysticals in a general sense. Their images are very nice, but I don't recommend them. We don't see eye to eye, and I actually gave this deck to my youngest son. The fairy tales I do very much enjoy, and I appreciate that the images pretty much match what it should be, and that there's 2 men and 2 women cards. That's awesome. So I do recommend this, the fairy tale. If you are just learning Lenormand, I highly, highly, highly recommend the bluebird. It has all the information that you need. The visuals are very realistic and very much what they should be. They're an absolutely lovely deck, so I highly, highly, highly recommend these ones. So either of these two, the Bluebird or the Fairy Tale, I would tell you absolutely get. But like I said, I don't recommend the Mystical. That's on you if you want to get them and try and learn with those. Maybe you'll have better luck than I did, but I don't recommend them. I do recommend these two completely. So, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment below which of these 3 decks did you like the best, and what about them did you like? Do you have either of these 3 decks? So thanks again, and you have a wonderful day.